One of the exciting molecules that we've been working with is BVD523. This is a first-in-class ERK inhibitor. These drugs have never been tested before in the clinic. ERK is an important enzyme in the MAP kinase signaling pathway, which is called the RAS-RAF-MEK pathway. And this is a pathway that gets dysregulated frequently in cancer and is known to have mutations that get activated. The main ones are RAS and RAF, and there are two FDA-approved drugs targeting RAF, vemurafenib and dabrafenib, and there's a MEK inhibitor also FDA-approved, but they all end up signaling through ERK. And the drugs that are approved work in the majority of patients, but it's often transient and resistance develop. And the hope is that with an ERK inhibitor, which sits downstream, that it could overcome or prevent the resistance and provide more clinical benefit. This was a first-in-class drug in a first-in-human study. We started at 10 milligrams twice a day with the dosing and escalated up to and found the dose for further study, which is 600 milligrams twice a day. Tolerability overall is good and manageable. Patients can have rash. It's acneiform-like, and that's probably the most common side effect. They can also have some GI side effects like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. All these are reversible when you hold the drug and they get better. It also tends to be dose-related, so you can come down on the dose if needed. The drugs were tested in a broad range of patients. There was not a selection for different genetic alterations, though many of the patients did have BRAF mutations that went on this, knowing that other drugs had already been FDA approved in a similar pathway. Of the 27 patients, there were 3 patients that had partial responses. All 3 were melanoma, and all 3 of them had BRAF mutations. Interestingly, one of the patients that had a partial response has been on study about a year and a half, had already progressed on BRAF inhibitors. So again, going for that proof of concept that ERK inhibitors may have the potential to overcome resistance when it develops to the standard FDA-approved therapies. The hope is, as if we continue to see the signal that we've seen, that this drug will be moved further in trials and eventually come into practice. One of the combination strategies may be to add it to one of the FDA-approved selective RAF inhibitors, such as vemurafenib or dabrafenib, and hopefully make that more active, and that'll likely be one of the first strategies for combination moving forward, but there's others potentially too.